over there? Yes.
Thank you. I have two questions. Is that
Yeah.
all right?
Yes.
Okay, so my first one is, you said, Board, that you had a meeting with Timber West and Island Health. What was the result of that meeting about logging the watershed?
Well, probably answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
I could probably answer that. I was at those meetings. What has come about is that they still intend to log in the watershed. Yeah, I've written a very strongly worded letter to the Ministry of Lands and Forests. What I've done basically is come out and I've stated that the Union Bay Improvement District Board will not and cannot accept any liability for what might happen in that watershed. We do not own the watershed. We do not own the timber in the watershed. All we own is actually the lake bed up there. And our only responsibility starts when that water enters our distribution system. And that's why we keep a close eye on that dam. We have it inspected regularly. And I've said to the Department of Land and Forest, I've suggested to them that there's another, I wish I had the letter here, but I don't right now. There is another entity that is a neutral entity that the government uses to do an independent survey of the lake. And I've asked them to activate, it's a private management land developed, I think some of you might be familiar with that, and asked them to do a survey of the lake. And if they decide, I suppose, that they can log in there, then I suppose we don't really have too much of an argument. But it's certainly not going to be on our nickel.
Can you get a sense of where they're sitting?
Well, I just sent a letter here probably about a week or 10 days ago, and I'm hoping what I've suggested to them, and I suggested this to Island Timberlands as well, that perhaps the provincial government could look at increasing the buffer zone around the lake. Right now, Island Timberlands can log right up to within 65 feet of the shore of the lake, which is ridiculous. I suggested that they approach Timberlands and see if they can make a deal with them to buy the timber and property to increase the buffer zone to about 500 meters around the lake.
How was that received?
Well, I haven't heard anything back yet, but to me that only makes sense. And to put a fence around it, because we're getting more development in this area, and as you know, that lake is not very far off the main highway, and we have to protect it. I think I don't have a problem with Island Timberlands. I mean, I understand that they're in this to make money, and that's the way things work, but not in our watershed. You know, and if the government does that, then we, you know, hopefully we'll have it adequately protected. You have to understand that we only get that water, we get our water from the government under license. Actually, 2 licenses. One is to store the water, allows us to store the water in Langley Lake, and the other is to distribute it. And we also have a permit from Island Health that allows us to distribute the water. So we really don't have a lot of power here. But I'm making darn sure everybody knows where we're at. And I think the one argument I have with Timberlands is that they seem to think that logging in the watershed and right up to the lake is a healthy thing. And I tried to convince them, well, look, you know, Langley Lake is has a very unique ecosystem. And it's largely dependent on the trees around the lake. Because they're marketable timber, that's why they want to market in there. But not only do the trees keep the lake cool in the summertime, but they also slow down flooding. erosion, it just goes on, and if they took those trees out of there, I'm not sure what would happen to the lake, quite frankly. Yeah, it's a real concern, and yeah, we'll see what happens. We're going to continue to write letters and raise
appeal
hands.
to their position to be good corporate citizens.
Yeah, I think, they're aware that they have an image. They have told us that, I think it was 60%, Lord, of their operations have been conducted in watershed areas, and they haven't had any problems, but,
Yeah,
there you go. See, and to me, that was an example of, and I'm not pointing the finger at anybody, but it was an example of allowing overlogging, and I don't want to see that happen.